ancient history. Some of my favorite times in school have been learning about when early man crossed the Atlantic in 1492, hearing about early tribal battles between British redcoats and American militiamen, and of course, we can't forget the earliest written document known to man, the Declaration of Independence. Of course, I'm being facetious. We all know that there was a life before American history, what that life consisted of, how and where people lived, besides not in America and not in an American way. Well, who knows? Again, being facetious though, because I do kind of know. I mean, of course, I don't have a PhD, but I did pay enough attention in world history class to know that a band of colonial Protestants doesn't exactly qualify as early man. The only trouble with that world history class is that there were only 15 kids in it. And why is that? Well, it's because kids think world history is too hard to take. It's so much material, such a short amount of time. Like, how am I supposed to learn the history of the world in only 8 months? And the truth is, you're probably not. If the school system was really geared toward teaching kids world history, we would learn it the same way we learned U.S. history. So now I'll use myself as an example. I had 3 years of middle school education that was all 100% U.S. history, start in 1492, end in the modern era. Then I came to high school, I had global themes, which is supposed to branch out a little more, but you're still making those connections back to U.S. history. Then you go right back again into straight U.S. history if your year of just U.S. history, and then another mandatory government class. Finally, you'll probably take an area study, which can be more international, but if you're like me and took Latin American, you're probably still getting a pretty heavy dose of U.S. history. So you add that all up, that's like 5 years of pure U.S. history and a year and a half of U.S.-ish history, all mandated by the school district. And when you take 5 years of something, you're not going to say, oh my gosh, it's so much material in such a short amount of time. In fact, you're probably more likely to say, I can't believe I'm learning this for the 3rd time. Sure, repetition helps us to remember U.S. history, but if I hadn't elected to take any other history classes, like world or European, I never would have gotten anything else. And to clarify, I'm not saying everyone should take as many history classes as I have. I really like history, and you might not, which is totally fine. It's not your responsibility to take twice as many history credits just to get a balanced education. Really, what would ideally happen is for the school district would fall back a little with the U.S. history, start mandating some more broad-reaching classes like world and European. Maybe sort of spending a little time before 1492 outside of North America. And it's just so weird to me because our school district, especially recently, has been creating so many new initiatives to teach us how to be better prepared to live in this new, more globalized world. Our assignments are increasingly online. You take Chinese starting in 6th grade, and they teach Singapore math in middle school, whatever that is. And that's why it's so incomprehensible to me that you could graduate high school without knowledge of really important historical events, like the history of colonialism in India or ethnic cleansing in the former Yugoslavia. Hell, even what went on during the interwar period in South and Central America, literally our next door neighbors. These historical events all color the cultures and societies of countries that we're increasingly interacting with, and if we're not familiar with them, we're going to be disadvantaged and act, for a lack of a better term, like insensitive assholes. When you put it like that, to me it seems that 20, 50, 100 years down the line, we're going to look at our denial of the importance of non-Western history, and we're going to see that it'll look just as stupid as believing